decades of running a journal, bringing new scholarship to light, bringing out the best in that scholarship after it's gone through peer review so that the scholars can be proud of their work and get cited. Years and years of supervision, of students' work, honours, postgraduate, that includes mainly PhD, furthering careers, all the time working in the teaching space, doing my best there, remembered by students. However, in the midst of all that and all the scholarship that I've produced intermittently over the years, on sexuality and migration, on moral geographies and laws that are anti-trans, for example, in parts of northern Mexico, such as Tecate. After years of doing life history research and publishing also work that's simultaneously decolonial and trans, and pushing to create spaces, working with others to do so as well, I'm reaching the age of 54, and outside of university I've had a lot of responsibilities, care responsibilities, as well as working in advocacy as a peer support worker more recently. I'm wondering why, first of all, I'm not invited to be a keynote anywhere, really. The only places that I can think of are in Mexico and India. But in Australia and in the Anglo-Northern sphere of academia, my work is overlooked. I myself am not invited to things. I am seen as secondary. I don't know where this comes from, but I do know that it's a pattern. Perhaps because the work doesn't fall into certain kinds of northern rationalities and normativities. I'm really bamboozled that as someone who, as well, is a trans elder, who also in their work has done minute analysis on the intersections between race, gender and sexuality within the archive, within representations and discourses about trans people, such as found in Latin America historically. My work gets passed over by different kinds of scholars. There are some people who have cited me, don't get me wrong. But for example, that first book was never reviewed by anyone. Some people value it. Readers value it. I'm not saying it's the best book in the world, but I don't know why I get responses from grad students and get taken up in curriculum, but I am not foregrounded or headlined for anything like a keynote at an International Gender and Sexuality Studies conference. Even in this country, in Australia, is it a lack of intelligibility because I'm in Latin American studies? But even within the field of Latin American studies, I've also never been headlined. In Iberian and Latin American studies, all I am really is the behind-the-scenes person. Even my alma mater has never invited me back to do a talk, even though it's actually been a point of inquiry when certain profs have needed to get a promotion together, promotion application. Where have I gone in my work? It's all laid out to them. It's not like they don't know, but I've never been invited. I, along with a colleague, have created spaces for dialogue, for example, through Sydney University Research Community for Latin America. Is this a kind of demotion/feminization? What about as a decolonial, yes, trans feminist? I ask you out there, I put a lot of energy into moving connections, moving ideas, and I work from the heart as well. So I'm just wondering, why is it that people don't take the time to read my work? Maybe it's crap. What do they hear first? Someone that's frustrated? You know, I've always had a sense of being marginalized within academic spaces, and transitioning medically, openly, embracing and living as a trans woman has not been a career move by any stretch. Let's put it that way. When am I going to be, instead of asked to contribute to a panel or submit a paper, invited to headline? Given all of my expertise, I will list my publications down below, or even upload a CV. Why do I not figure? This might seem like a very ego-driven discourse. It's not. It's actually would be really helpful to survive in the increasing downward pressure on us, for example, at my own institution, or proving our impact and achieving academic excellence, for people to support the work of trans women scholars like myself. Yeah? Not only those who kind of embrace being non-binary, or kind of like to include their pronouns she, they at some later stage of their career. No, what about the people who are actually embodying who they are and taking risks and invisibilized? This also includes people who are racialized. I'm not just headlining myself here. There are many other stories of people who are not taken seriously as theorists or intellectuals because we're culturally and racially diverse, and also trans and queer. I'd like to see that change in all the different fields. I'd like to see us invited and consulted as experts. If this is provocative, if you think I'm just talking all about me, I want you to take a pause, because I've spent maybe 18 years post-PhD in academia, and as I said, in the Anglo-North American, northern context of academia, I've never been invited to do anything like a keynote. Never.